Hello there, boxing fans around the world. Thanks for joining me once again here on Talkin Fight for another episode of Boxing News Today. I don't know whether to call it the wild world of boxing or the Eddie Hearn show, but how do you mix six fighters' names in two different weight divisions and Eddie Hearn into the same sentence? Well, I'm about to do so, I think. We'll start off with what Eddie Hearn believes won't happen, and he doesn't believe Teofimo Lopez or Devin Haney, a fight between those two will happen. He says he doesn't think it'll get past the negotiation stage. Why? Because it means that one of them has to agree to be the B side. And Teofimo, he's got 19-1 record, 18 knockouts. Haney's got 30-0 record, 15 knockouts. And for his part, Eddie Hearn says it's not going to happen. But what he does think will happen is that he can put a fight between Devin Haney and WBC light welterweight champ Ruiz Prograis, who he promotes, by the way, together. So we'll see what happens on that front. Moving forward very quickly, I see that while we're on Devin Haney's line here, let's have a look at what he's up to. Oh, look at that. He's been arrested. Imagine a boxer coming into contact and in trouble with the law. So here it goes. He's been arrested and booked for felony possession of a concealed weapon. The fighter, who's coming off a huge win over Lomachenko, was out at a place called Catch LA when he was minutes later, after he left the hotspot around midnight. The cops pulled him over, and although he wasn't driving, due to an unsafe lane change and a failure to use a turn signal, according to the authorities, Haney was not driving, but the person who was told officers during the stop that there was a firearm inside the car. Police say they got Haney and a security member out of the car, and when they searched the vehicle, they found a semi-automatic handgun under the driver's seat. So, although no one took ownership of the gun, and since the car was registered to Haney, he was arrested and booked for felony possession of a concealed weapon. Bad news, but nothing, I'm sure, is going to complicate things for a little bit for his life, but it's not like boxing has let legal trouble get in the way of any big matchups before. So that brings us to Teofimo Lopez. So Teofimo Lopez hit the roof over a supposed $20 million offer to Devin Haney, that the WBO super lightweight champ, now not retired, knows nothing about. The former unified lightweight king took to social media to state his intentions to block Haney from attempting to fight for his belt if he does vacate to retire. While involved in a set-to with Haney over the potential fight, the Dream mentioned the rejection by Teofimo of a massive potential purse. As it transpired, it was Teo's father, Teofimo Lopez Sr., who had gotten in contact with Haney on the blind side of his son. Lopez Jr. didn't take too kindly to this and let his feelings be known after Haney made the statement. Talk about an up and down week in that particular division between those three guys and involving Eddie Hearn, who throws in the name Ruiz Prograis just for fun. Speaking of just for fun, Deontay Wilder and Andy Ruiz Jr. are still at it, and I mean words. Going back, they were ordered last November by the WBC to meet in a heavyweight eliminator, and to date, absolutely nothing has come of that said order. With bigger names and other title holders scheduled for fights, grudge matches, mandatory title bouts, exhibitions against MMA guys, the talk of Wilder versus Ruiz has picked back up. This week, Wilder said that Ruiz has been unreasonable in his demands, having approached his team for a possible fight, and remarked, "When you're serious, holler at me. Until then, do what you do, bro. You got a lot of weight to lose, man. You can talk that talk, but only few will walk that walk. So if you want to see what a knockout feels like, get your brain splattered, holler at me, bro. I ain't far." That was Wilder. All right. Ruiz came back with a reply. Let's get it. "What do you mean I'm scared, bro? I ain't scared of nobody. The only person I'm scared of is the man above. You want to talk about money? You want to talk about respect? How are you going to blow my brains out? Bro, You're going to have diarrhea before you step into that ring. Let's make this shit happen. I'm training hard. I'm trying to get this. I'm trying to humble your ass down. Let's just be fair. Let's be reasonable. Let's tell Al Heyman to cut the check, and let's show everybody what we're about. I'm here to win, baby. It's not about the money. I'm here to fucking win and become champion again. Let's get it. But remember, you're going to have diarrhea before you step in that ring. Woo-wee. Okay. Now, speaking of the heavyweights, it was surprising to see, quite frankly, WBC President Mauricio Solomon saying that there was no one for Fury to fight, and therefore he approved this fight between Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou. And of course, who has words about this particular situation? None other than Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn let Tyson Fury have it on Thursday, according to Charles Brunn over BoxNews24.com, slamming him for cherry-picking debutante Francis Ngannou for a payday of between $30 and $40 million US and a guaranteed win, while walking away from a bigger $60 to $80 million to fight either Alexander Usyk or one of the other names in a fight he could lose. Fury is avoiding, says Hearn, the Usyk and Joshua fights because they're difficult for him and he could lose. And if that happens, the massive money he's been getting for fighting subpar opposition will begin to disappear. And if you want to talk about the subpar opposition he's talking about, it began back when he fought Francesco Pianetta, then Tom Schwartz, Otto Wallen, Deontay Wilder, the trilogy, Dillian White, and Derek Chisora most recently. And Hearn is particularly critical that he has fought people and he could have chosen to fight someone other than Ngannou. So, number one, he said, I don't think he should be stripped of the world heavyweight title. Number two, it's terrible for boxing because the world heavyweight champion should be making the fights that the world of boxing wants to see to cement your legacy as a true great. Okay, so the fact is, we've been trying. Boxing has been waiting for the undisputed heavyweight championship for 5, 6, 7, however many years, says Hearn. You've got an opportunity there for Tyson Fury to fight Alexander Usyk for $60, $70, $80 million, and he didn't want to do it. And that would cement Tyson Fury as a true great of the modern era. When you look at Tyson Fury's victory over the last 6, 7 years, they are Sefer Safari, Francesco Pianetta, Tom Schwartz, Otto Wallen, Deontay Wilder, Derek Chisora, and Dillian White. So I'm looking for him to fight AJ and Usyk. Listen, maybe he beats those guys. He's a brilliant fighter. The problem, and I face this problem sometimes as well, Frank Warren says the reason these fights is because everyone's buggering off to Saudi Arabia. Yep, to be in legacy-defining heavyweight fights, you're buggering off to Saudi Arabia to fight a debutante in Ngannou who has absolutely no chance in the fight, said Hearn. Commercially, I think it's decent business, but we should just be a bit more honest sometimes and just go, it is what it is. I don't like the way they say, well, Usyk would fight me, Joshua wouldn't find me, said Hearn. What else? And I especially don't like the WBC saying that either because the WBC are pushing the narrative. So, Mauricio Solomon, you're telling me that Joshua didn't want to fight with Fury? You're telling me that Usyk didn't want to fight Tyson Fury? Come on. That's what Eddie Hearn said. Right on. Now, speaking of Tyson Fury, an absolutely brilliant quote as found in The Sun over in the UK regarding the Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury fight. He says, the headline screams, Fury versus Ngannou will be just a larger version of the miserable Floyd Mayweather-Conor McGregor mismatch. But that's not the quote I'm referring to. It gets better. Francis Ngannou is threatening when he's kicking in a cage, but when he steps into the ring with Tyson Fury, he'll be about as menacing as a water pistol. iBoxing fans thought that was hilarious and had quite a good chuckle, I must say. But nonetheless, those two they're going to fight in Saudi Arabia on October 28th. Go figure. Here we go. Now, speaking of guys who are making tons of money boxing, YouTuber Jake Paul has turned himself into one of the most popular boxers in the world today, especially among youngsters, but he has a long list of naysayers, and he doesn't back down. During a recent interview with Sports Illustrated, he was presented with this comment from longtime promoter Eddie Hearn. He said, Hearn, a guy like Jake, his attention span is so limited. If you want to succeed in boxing, it's 100% all your focus and time to be at the top end like anything. And he can't do that because his mind is just everywhere. So Paul fired back, declaring he plans to sticking around. He said Eddie Hearn is not the person to ever judge Jake Paul. He is a bipolar Jake Paul fan. One moment he's like, yeah, this is amazing. The next moment he's like, fuck this kid. Paul said, going on to add, you'll see, I'm here to stay. Right? As we all know, Paul is scheduled to face former UFC star Nate Diaz on August 5th. It's a Saturday night, American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas. Even though he's coming off a split decision against Tommy Fury back in February, yet his motivation hasn't wavered. He said, I love the sport. It's changed my life. In fact, it's saved my life, and it can be so much better. Don't know if his life could be better or boxing. But anyway, let's move along to some boxers who I'm quite proud of. Jared Anderson. As we know, the unbeaten American is set to face Ukraine's Andriy Rudenko on August 26th. Anderson's 15-0, 14 knockouts. He's going to take on the contender Rudenko in a 10-round event in Tulsa, Oklahoma, less than 2 months after his victory over former world champ Charles Martin. But there's been some rumblings about why he's chosen Rudenko. Now, this fight's going to take place at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. After he had beaten, as I said, Charles Martin in Toledo. And although the 23-year-old has ended 14 of his 15 fights in 6 rounds or less before claiming that unanimous decision over Martin, by the way, this will be a great test. This is another great test for Jared, said top-ranked Chairman Bob Arum. When you watch him fight, you're seeing a future heavyweight champion of the world. However, Rudenko is a crafty veteran who's been in there with some top guys. The fans at the Hard Rock Tulsa are in for a real treat, said Arum. By the way, Anderson is currently ranked number 7 in the world by the WBO and 9th in the world by the WBC, with the real big baby on track to challenge the division's biggest names sometime, hopefully very soon. Said Anderson, I want to stay active and make my case that I am the present and future of the heavyweight division. Rudenko is a tough, durable veteran. I respect what he's accomplished in the game, but he's going to regret accepting this challenge. Rudenko, for his part, he's 35-6, 21 knockouts, 39 years old, more than 16 years of pro experience, and he was 24-0 before losses to then undefeated contenders Lucas Brown and Hughie Fury. In recent years, he's lost via decision to former world champ Alexander Povetkin, reigning European champ Ajit Kabayal, and top contender Zhilai Big Bang Zhang. This is a tremendous opportunity, and I'm coming to Tulsa to score the big upset, Rudenko said. I dedicate this fight to the people of Ukraine, and I can't wait to show everyone that I still have what it takes to perform at the highest level. And that, my friends, winds us down for today's episode. Hope you appreciate it. Thank you very much. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'll see you later on at 4 p.m. when I join Mike Orr for his show, Knuckle Up, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you.